Hey,
Hey.
how are y'all doing? Welcome to the first installment of the Serve podcast. I'm here with Ben, also known as Benowy,
Welcome, everyone.
and I'm here with Jessy. Say hi.
Aloha.
Also known as Wanahawkaloogee on Twitch. She's a big ass streamer, so if you don't know her, you're probably missing out.
Really gonna start off with that, huh?
Of course I am. She's also known as the Duchess Surf. So yeah, hopefully this isn't gonna be the last episode we're gonna be making. It all, of course, depends on you guys.
Ended so soon.
I mean, it, of course, all depends on you guys, how much you guys are gonna enjoy it, and if you are gonna enjoy it, we're definitely gonna make more. Shut up, Babs. So, me and Ben are gonna be co-hosting, or yeah, that's the right word, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we're gonna be co-hosting the thing. We want to get a lot of different people on here because I just feel like it's a good idea, and Orson did a very good job making 2 episodes of it. I'd love there to be more of it. That's why I wanted to make one. And here we are, with the first guest being Jessy. Say hi again.
Aloha.
be more enthusiastic.
Aloha!
Fuck yeah, okay. Ears. So just a little bit of an introduction. Jessy, also known as Duchess, surfs on CSGO, on Surf Heaven. She's currently ranked 294. That's quite impressive.
Is that?
Yeah.
What?
Aren't you?
Don't even know my own rank.
Of course you are. I have your stats from the Surf Heaven website. Yeah, I have your profile pulled up, and it says that you've played Surf for 1,700 hours only on Surf Heaven.
On Surf Heaven.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is that a actual number of how long you've been serving?
No. I was surfing before that in a server called FOG. On CSGO for I think 2,500 hours before that.
Damn.
Okay, so you have close to $4,000 then?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
So
what made you decide to move to Surf Heaven from FOG?
FOG closed down. So we were like I was a part of the management team, but because of the owner having problems with like English Valve, because Valve is a big demo and breaks some server hosting places a lot. He didn't really want to move everything over. Plus a lot of other factors. I didn't want to stop surfing completely, but I did take like 2 months off, and then just went to Surf Heaven because US servers are big ick. Smile.
Yeah, I think taking breaks is quite I don't know. Could you say popular thing in Surf? Because I think you can get burned out pretty quickly on Surf, especially if you're grinding and grinding and grinding.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: do you think so? Estimated 4,000 hours in Surf, right?
Roundabout.
Yeah. Let's say plus minus 100.
Yeah.
I'm just waffling. So, would you say that's a lot for a surfer?
It depends on how like spread out those hours are. It started in 2017.
2017.
So not really. At first, yeah, it was a lot, but now no. I only surf like maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. So those kind of pile up a little bit, but no, not really.
Which is still a good amount.
Yeah.
And I think time really correlates well. Sorry, correlates well into surf skill, right? Because the more you're gonna surf, the more you're gonna be comfortable with every single aspect of surf, and there's a lot of it. So Ben, how long are you surfing? When did you start?
I mean, I think I don't know exactly, right? I'm just guessing back to when I think I started, and I'm pretty sure it was back in 2018. I've got pretty certain it's well, I can actually check that because I only surf in CS at all. So I've got 2,300 hours in CS:GO, 900 in Source, and then I've got like up to 100 in Momentum Mod. So it's quite a similar timescale to Jessy. Just she started surfing a year before me, so she's got around 1,000 hours as well. Like it seems to be pretty normal to put in around 1,000 hours a year, give or take.
Yeah, I think I'm a good. I think I'm a good. What's the word? Fucking English. It's really hard. I think I'm a really good example of that because I'm from the three of us. I'm the youngest server here. I joined the community. I joined surfing in last year, 2020, in April. Quarantine hit, and nothing better to do. Let's start surfing, and it like I got obsessed. It's really fun and it's really good. And I have, I think, around about 700 hours, 800 hours, somewhere around that there. And I surfed for almost a year now. So yeah, we can say 1,000 hours per year is quite reasonable. But
I mean, I'll just say,
yeah,
it's a lot, right? 1,000 hours a year is a lot. But if it is something like if it's your main game, which is for a lot of us the case, then it's a hobby and it's a great hobby to have in my opinion. So surfing all the time you want, then those 1,000 hours fly by.
exactly. Okay. Let's segue into something very closely connected to surfing, which is streaming, what we're doing right now. So when I first started surfing.
Okay, I think Ronin just died. So
Did I?
Jessy, when was it you started streaming and what got you into it initially?
He was talking for me, but I don't know. Could you repeat the question? I kind of got distracted.
Like you started bringing on about streaming, and then I just heard him go quiet, unless if something disappeared on my end. But like, when did you start streaming, and what made you decide to start streaming initially?
I think my first stream was in 2013 or 2014. And I initially first started streaming drawing. I did that for about 6 months, but the reason I started was because I was more active drawing back then than I am now. And it's really what I spent all of my time doing in between having a job and playing competitive CSGO. So I wanted to get into streaming because I watched a streamer. I don't remember her name, but yeah. Yes, but sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So yeah, what I wanted to say, I think I cut out for Benowy there, but what I wanted to say that when I started surfing, I think most of the community is centralized around Twitch and streaming. Because a lot of the top tier surfers, not a lot, but almost, I mean, yeah, a lot. Almost every top tier surfer, let's say Caffrey, now Levi, Beetle, who's in chat, are huge streamers when it comes to the surfing game mode, and I think the close knit family of the whole surfing community is just is a really good thing on. I mean, like that's what got me into streaming. I wanted to make a community. I wanted to have peeps to talk to and to do this kind of stuff. And I think surfing just allows you to do that really well, because it's very good for the eyes. You can play good tunes while you're surfing. And yeah, so yeah, Jessy, you're definitely not new to the streaming game.
No.
But can you tell me about maybe some struggles that you have with streaming? I don't want to play the you're a girl on the internet card too much, but I think it definitely does affect your streaming and your gaming experience to a degree. So like, if you want to talk about it, if you want to say something to it.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the hardest things I think I think everybody has with literally anything, and it's been big on streaming with me, especially these last couple of years, has been like motivation. Motivation and like figuring out what you want to do, because I'm a really like planned out person. I like planning things out, figuring out what I'm gonna do for like a stream, and sometimes like I just don't know what I'm gonna do. That has been like a big hurdle, especially because it's like a regular thing. It's not just a every once in a while sort of a deal. And as for the girl thing, I didn't really see any problems with it before. This is gonna sound bad. I didn't really see any problems with it before I started streaming CS:GO in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Once I got more into like the whole gaming portion of Twitch instead of like drawing or creativity, like after I got out of the creative side of my streamings, like, and I started like making a community with, actually playing video games and things like that. Did I see like comments about OMG Gamer Grill, stuff like that? And I've only had a few problems with it. The trolleys that come in, then they really want to make a comment about how you're a girl, and because you're a girl you're doing bad.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's a constant, but it's okay. Because you have the people who are like, get out of here, you're not here for the entertainment.
Yeah.
You're just here because lady sound. But no, it's not as big of a deal as it was maybe a year ago, especially after the community grew a little bit. So my experience has been, it might not be the same for everybody else, but
yeah, I think I think like the whole thing of being anonymous on the internet, right, gives people the power to be a cunt.
yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
If they want to be, right? Because nobody knows who you are on the internet. I mean, there are ways of knowing, but it doesn't matter. And I just think that I mean, I have a friend that we used to play Counter-Strike together, a female friend. And when we joined a surf lobby, I think it was even on Surf Heaven. There was just, and when we tried to talk in voice, because she didn't have Discord, it's a stupid excuse, I know, but we talked in voice in Counter-Strike, and she just got bombarded with 12-year-old squeakers saying "woman this, woman that," which is stupid. And I just and I just wanted to ask if you had a similar situation.
Yeah, especially on the public servers, like any public server that you're going to join, if you have voice enabled and you talk in the voice chat and you sound anything equivalent to a lady or a tiny child, like people are going to make comments, and that's okay. It's just that it gets annoying after the first, dozen times.
Yeah, but you get used to it, right? Especially being someone on the internet, because you are someone on the internet, right? A lot of people know you as Jessy, as Wanahawkaloogee on Twitch, and you are gonna get targeted just for being that, and you just gotta learn how to deal with it. Learn how to deal with the haters.
The only way I think I really like properly, sorry, the only way that I think I learned to deal with it, or that I like noticed really works, because it like giving it attention causes a lot of issues. Getting mad at people causes a lot of issues. Like if they come in and they comment about it, or if they're being annoying, just kill them with kindness.
True.
Is they either won't stick around, or they will stick around and they'll be nicer.
Fair enough.
I have to say, that's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
The people that try to cause harm, just be kind to them. I mean, it's much harder to be mean or anything towards somebody who's being nice back to you in return. I mean, if they're coming back, or if you're flaming back at them, it's going to be much easier for them to continue. But if you start being nice to them, it's going to be much harder for them to actually keep going. So it's just going to shut them down a lot, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's segue back into surf. So let's actually perfect. Max in chat asked us who's our favorite surfers. And I think a subjective view of this is it's going to be quite interesting. Let's start with you, Jessy. Who's your favorite surfer?
I don't have one specifically. I'm very vocal about
I mean,
who I enjoy the most, but it's Louie and Beetle right now are my like two favorite surfers.
cool. Short
Yeah.
and sweet. Ben?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite surfer?
Yeah, I mean that's hard to say. I mean, if you're looking at the top end of surf, then it's gonna more than likely be Caffrey, and Cymex. Those two are fantastic people and phenomenal surfers, and the effort and stuff they put into it, I respect. Albeit, obviously, every top surfer out there is putting a crap ton of effort to get where they are, so that is huge. But when you say favorite surfer, I mean, what do you mean? Because that could be friends, for example. I mean, I've got Default. He's one of my closest friends in surf. We've been surfing for a long time together. It could be all of the streamers out there. It could be all the random people I meet. Like, that's a tough question to answer for me.
In terms of surfers, like I was thinking more like when you asked, I was thinking more of like surf streamers, not like surfers like surf.
Yeah, let's divide the question. So, who's your favorite surfer? So, just watching. Yeah, but just watching their surf, right? There has to be a difference between watching, let's say, Caffrey surf or anyone else, because there's a difference between surfer and a surf streamer, because I really like Caffrey as a surfer. I love how much effort he put into it, how much effort he's still putting into it, and into the whole community. But as a streamer, I would much rather say someone like Tux, or actually there isn't an or at the end of that sentence. Tux. I don't know. I just enjoy his streams. I can laugh at his streams, right? Because he just grabs that and pulls it out of you. Meanwhile, you watch Caffrey's stream to watch very good quality surf. I'm not saying Tux's surf isn't quality for anyone listening, but yeah. So saying that, who would you say your favorite surfer is and your favorite surf streamer?
Probably stick with Beetle on that one. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Beetle. Yeah.
So Ben, you said Caffrey is your
It's either
Caffrey
Caffrey or
Cymex, yeah.
Cymex for me. I mean, it's hard to say which one. I mean, Caffrey, I think he is a phenomenal surfer, and he's just a really nice guy. He's helped me out quite a bit as well, and same with Cymex as well. I mean, they are just fantastic.
Yeah, and of course
So
you're gonna big up your friends as your favorite surfers, right? You said default earlier.
Yeah, I mean, for favorite server default, we've been friends for a long, long time, right? We've been surfing for, I think, a few years now. We were admins together on a previous server. Then I left there a year later. He decided to leave, and he's now admin on the same server as I am again. So we surf a lot together. We talk a lot, which also, I mean, it's, yeah. I'd have to say default there. I gotta say.
Perfect.
We're close friends.
Shout out to default. He's a very nice human being, and really easy to talk to as well. I'd love to get him on here as well.
And he might start streaming eventually if he ever gets a PC. He is saying he's gonna get.
Yeah. That's a posh champ if I've ever heard
one. Might
be
some months, but he is planning on it. Saving up at the moment.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. So on the topic of surf, Jessy, when I watch your streams, you always say that you prefer smooth maps, right?
Correct. Yes.
So you would call yourself a smooth surfer, right?
I hope so, yeah.
So to put surfers into categories, because there are thousands of different, hundreds of maps that are different in surf style, decorations, and just everything. No map is the same, right? You have to put surfers into categories then as well. So you have more technical maps that require more, let's say, turning, spinning, and quick movements from you. And then you have something like unit or smooth surf maps that just require as less movement as possible so you retain your speed, retain your unit. And you would put yourself into that category, right?
Yeah.
So, saying that, what would you say your favorite map is?
Calibration.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
What even is that map?
It is a tier 4. It's a somewhat smooth. It's mostly smooth. It's got its like little places that make you big sag, but it's got places. You guys ever have like here? I have questions for you guys. You guys have like a surf map that really is, you could surf it all the time, like no problem, no matter how much you surf it. It just never gets, like, the replayability of it is just like solid, and it's just like I don't know, I can't ask questions, but that's what calibration is for me. So do you guys have one that's kind of like that?
Ben, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, we are completely different style of surfers. I'm more into the tech surf, into the spins. So for me, I mean, one of my favorite bonuses is Midsummer B4, which is a minute-long spin bonus through and through. And I could play that one all day if I wanted to. And then there's also maps like Kitsune 2. That is also a fantastic map with 2MKZA said in chat. I have played that map a lot, and I think it's more the fact that whilst that's not so much tech, there is so much you can do on that map, and I love like staged linear maps, where you can take it slow if you need to, or you can push and you can keep going. You keep that speed throughout, and it just becomes one long map where it's tough, but it's fun still in most cases, right? So things like Omnific as well also fit in that category quite well, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of versatility when it comes to that kind of, like those staged linear maps, because it caters to maybe Omnific not so much, but Kitsune 2 maybe, to beginners and all the way up to top tier surfers, right? Because you can do it stage by stage, slowly, take your time. You have 1 hour on KSF. You have unlimited time on Surf Heaven. And if you want to, you can optimize your route. You can optimize your skips, and you can get a one shot through the map. Cool. Yeah, for me.
Can I answer?
Yeah, for me, I would say I'm a smooth server. I'm definitely a smooth server. I don't like to move my mouse a lot. I think it's a hard one because I haven't surfed that many maps. But I think my favorite map is definitely gonna be Cannonball. That map just hits different for me. I can surf it whenever I want, for how long I want. But talking about different types of maps, you said Calibration is your favorite map.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't actually put Calibration into the quote unquote smooth surf category.
I have a pretty good idea, Ronan. What if you put the video Calibration up just so we can see what the map is at the same time?
Ooh, I could.
We can talk about it and then watch it as well, because personally, it doesn't ring that big of a bell for me. I don't know about the rest of the people in chat, but that might be a decent idea, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna try and do that. You guys, I'm gonna mute myself. You guys talk a little bit more about the map. Jessy, you can actually perfect. Ben doesn't know about the map. Tell him about it.
No.
Story time.
Just put me up there like that, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like I said, it's a tier 4. It's linear. It's actually really similar to the map that you were doing last night. Like
Zeonin?
Yeah.
9?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
The ending that, like, if you see it, I feel like you'd know it, Ben.
Oh, like the stage 4 or
it 2 of the stages actually I think have similar parts to it, but yeah, it's linear. It's got literally little pieces of that map. It's literally part of that. So
yeah, I'm gonna articulate myself after we watch the video. I really hope nothing breaks because Streamlabs has been giving me quite a bit of trouble when setting all of this up. So when I switch scenes, hopefully it doesn't break. Fingers crossed. So browser, switch to calibration. Boom.
just quickly to answer to MKZA. I wish it was, but I can't learn that map. I don't know why.
What did he say?
I've done the map, but I can't do it. He says he bets Tronic is in my top 10 favorite maps, and I mean I love watching it done well, but so far I haven't been able to surf it well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
probably grind it someday.
Let's watch the video. To people who are listening to this and won't be watching, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's gonna be a minute 27. It's a run by Caffrey. We all know him. He's rank 1 currently. The best surfer, arguably. That's Levi, but okay. Let's watch the video. Where's the units?
Yeah, this is like stage 4 of Z09. However you say it. At least the very start. Same kind of textures.
I love this map so much.
I think I have played this a few times before.
Looks like fun. Haven't actually played it like ever.
Like, I kid you not, I think I probably got like around about 200 hours on all the servers that I played on just calibration.
Yeah, it's got this crap. Oh no. That killed my runs a couple times yesterday when I was doing Z09 or whatever it's called. On stage 4, you got that tight ass head check where you gotta go just above it to get straight through.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. And the rings. Oh no. The rings, dude.
Wait, why is his name? I hate myself. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay, it didn't break. Perfect. Yeah. So let me. So why I think that I don't think that falls into the category of smooth surf, right?
Okay. Counter question. What category do you think it does fall into? Because I'm not very good.
Yeah.
What call certain... Yeah.
It's definitely smoothish surf, right? But it's like the one thing that just trumps it, why it's not a smooth surf map. It's like, it's first of all, it's Maxwell, and most smooth maps, like let's say Who Knows 3, Cannonball, let's say Cairo, stuff like that, aren't capped on 3.5k units. And being capped on 3.5k units is just, it limits you, or it forces you to surf it a different way, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on smooth surf maps, you're free to do whatever, as long as you get as many units as possible. And there's a lot of like different awkward cuts, not really spins, but turns, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I initially said it as, like I said, sort of smooth, because it has those little, like, you have to make some, especially if you want to go for the cuts, you got to make some turns, and then you got the stupid head check thing, or not head check, but like, you got to avoid bonking your face on the ceiling on the angled ramp.
So Beetle said it's post-rock neo-jazz surf, which I see it. I think Calibration is just one of those typical surf maps that just how would I put it? It's a classic surf map. I don't think it really falls into any of those categories that I listed previously. It's not overly techy, and it's not overly smooth and unit dependent, and it just falls in the middle of it.
If I pose you another counter argument, then
Perfect.
I mean, you say it's not unit or smooth surf because it is Maxwell, but when you go down in lower tiers, for example, a lot of the unit smooth maps are Maxwell, and you do hit those 3,500 units. Same for higher tier maps as well, of course, but it's more recent that maps have started getting uncapped. Before, the vast majority of maps were capped. Now they're starting to get uncapped, and you can get more units. And whilst I think that's better for unit surf, we've also seen maps, I can't remember which Who Knows it was, but one of the Who Knows got changed from capped surf to uncapped. It was still a unit before then, at least in my opinion, and I think most others. But now it's still unit, but it's uncapped, so it's slightly different, but it's still unit in my opinion, because that cap, it doesn't change the essence of smooth surf. It's still get to that cap, hold those units as much as you can, maintain them.
Okay.
And that's still the same if it's uncapped or capped, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you learn something new every day, right? I'm still newish to the community. I'm still learning about all of this, so thank you, Ben. I would agree with that. I just thought that I just think that because of like some awkward, like quicker turns, it maybe not fall that much towards the smooth category, right?
Yeah, then you have to like make sub groups of like what you would call maps with like slight turns and stuff like that, though.
Yeah, because like, if
the thing, sorry.
I mean, I just wanted to say, if we say that a map like Who Knows 3 or Cannonball, have you both played Cannonball?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would say that that is a smooth map, like smooth surf. Or Who Knows 3 maybe even better, even a better example of a smooth map. And I think the difference between Calibration and Who Knows 3 is just too big to put them into the same category.
I mean, what
Good.
what I was thinking though, it's like with Calibration, I don't know the map very well. I just saw the video now, and I think I've played it before. I'm assuming there are skips, and what we did see was the world record run of the map.
Yeah.
Now, if you were playing that map normally, how it was built, just the pace it was meant to be done at, then I'm assuming it would not be nearly as tight. The cuts would not be quite as extreme as they currently are in the record that we were watching, right? So I don't think that can really be taken. If I might be wrong here, of course, but if the cuts weren't made to be like that, that's just how they ended up as being the fastest route. then it's still kind of a unit map. It's just been adapted to it over time as people gotten better in Surf. It's still a unit-based map.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because you have some cuts in there that are a bit tight-ish. I don't see how that changes the overall style of the map.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there are subcategories of maps out there. Like, it's not just unit or smooth and tech surf. There's definitely different styles, I'm sure. But
yeah.
not really any names for those yet.
I mean, that's the like the main. That's like the main. Those are the main categories that we would normally put maps in there, but not all maps will fit right into that category perfectly. So, of course, there's gonna be ifs and whats about it. Another question for you, Jessy. So, as you do prefer smooth maps, and you would call yourself a smooth surfer, how much harder is it for you to play something that's quote unquote techie? So, for example, would you like an example map?
Yes.
I'm assuming you haven't.
For whom?
Sorry?
Midsummer bonus for.
Actually, no, I wouldn't. No. Okay, let me rephrase the question. Not techie, but quote unquote AIDS maps.
Faster paced, like
No.
things like that. Like,
let's say
AIDS maps. So
everything that Louis plays. So let's say fruits maps.
It takes me way longer to learn. It also depends. It can't be that. It sometimes isn't that bad, but it also like comes down to how closed in the map is. Because if I don't have a lot of room to work with, my brain just fries because I can't. I hate being in close spaces, off game and in game. So if there's not a lot of room for me to like flail around like an idiot, I freak out. And it takes me a lot longer to learn the maps because I have to get myself accustomed to that map and then spend like however long on it to do it. It also depends on if it's linear or not. I know that sounds silly, but
yeah, there's just a lot more going on, right, on those kinds of maps.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just that like I can deal with a lot going on, but it's mostly how the ramps are set up and how close I have to be to walls, because walls and ceilings are my worst enemies.
I feel you on that. I hate head checks. Yeah. So what popped into my head there was, I think the main difference between those kinds of maps is if we take a look at, let's say, an AIDS map, or I don't really like that term, like a technically intensive map.
Mm-hmm.
For example, something like fruits. If you want to go for a good run on fruits, one-shotting that is, there's just a lot of different things, a lot of stuff that's going on in short periods of time. Meanwhile, on, let's say, unit maps, it's maybe a bit more slow paced. Paced.
Sorry, if I can interject quickly, I wouldn't say it's more slow paced. I would say it's more consistent. If you look at a map like Fruit, it's not that technically advanced, but each stage changes what you have to do and how you surf it, which is, I think, one of the key differences between the kind of maps. It's inconsistent each stage, more or less, compared to a map like Who Knows or Calibration.
Yeah. When I said slow paced, I just meant like there's not that much mouse movement, right? Unless, of course, there's like a spin or a fast 180, but normally on unit / surf smooth maps, there's the mouse movement is a bit slower, and you want to retain as many units as possible and strafe and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily easier, right, to do it faster, because I respect unit surfers a lot because they just pull units out of thin air. And it's just fascinating to me. Let's say someone like Levi. I've been trying to beat Enokia now for 2 days, and watching Levi's WRCPs just gives me a headache because I have roughly the same units from first to second ramp than compared to him, but then from second to third he just has 150 more than me, and I just don't understand how and why. Meanwhile, on techier maps, it's normally a bit easy. It's a bit easier for me to understand, at least, why that's a bit slower. Maybe you just landed really poorly on that ramp because of the spin or quick 180. Still weird. What you want to say, Ben? I know you're a techie surfer. What's your take on it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for unit maps, I saw what Tux was saying earlier in chat about it being Tux. You have to, sorry, not Tux. In unit surf, like smooth maps, you do have to pay a lot more attention because if you are trying to go for wrecks and stuff like that, you have to watch your units, all that kind of stuff constantly, and learn the speeds you need to be at min max. And that aspect you don't really have in tech surf. It's not so much min maxing your units, just your movement around the course, I guess. Obviously, units matter, but not to the same extent. We've got a bit more freedom in that regard.
Yeah, I didn't look at chat that much. I'm trying to focus on everything else. But yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I agree with what Tux said in chat. Yeah, you have to be mindful of your units on unit maps. It's in the name, of course. But if you do a techie map fast, you know it's gonna be fast because you perfectly did a spin, perfectly hit a B-hop, stuff like that. That just,
I think you can feel it a lot more.
Yeah.
When you do a ramp nicely, you just fly off it. In unit maps, you're always going to be at high speed. So seeing a difference at above 3k units of 10 to 20 units visually, that's going to be hard to see. So you do have to look at your units a lot more.
Yeah,
In tech,
yeah.
you can just feel it almost, if that makes sense.
Cool. Jessy, you have anything to add on to it?
This is where I make the comment that I'm not a techie surfer, so I do not understand the technicalities of it.
Fair enough.
Which might make sense as why I'm so bad at techie surf, but yeah.
Yeah, but I hope that you will take something more, like something home from this, like something more, right? You're gonna learn something from it, and I would really love to see if somebody in chat or somebody watching on YouTube would is gonna be like, ooh, yeah, I agree with that. I think that's well put, because surf is a really complicated thing when you're trying to do stuff fast, and even the top tier surfers don't 100% understand the game mode. Most of the stuff they do is natural, and they just do it. But yeah, let's move on to another topic. I think we milked it enough. Jessy, surf is your main game mode that you stream, but I know for a fact that you play off stream. You love to play a little bit of KZ and a little bit of B-hop as well. So why is surf the dominant game mode for you? Like, why are you streaming surf and not B-hop or KZ?
Less focus, if that makes sense. Because I thought about it a lot. Like, it's easier to... it's not good. You probably shouldn't do it, but it's easier to, like, if you find a comfy spot in surf, like midair or something, to look over and chat and be able to reply to something. It's also more chill. The amount of angry that I get at KZ, it's I get so mad at KZ. It's not even funny. It's not even a fraction of like at a Surf Grotto, like the stuff that people experienced when I was doing Surf Grotto. It's not even like it's way worse than that. So it's mostly for peace of mind's sake that I don't get cranky during stream or anything like that. I could do the same with B-Hop, but it's also like the fear of judgment there too, because at least like I'm not great at surf, but I'm not bad. Yeah. Whereas B-Hop and KZ,
you just feel more so. You just feel more comfortable on surf, especially streaming it, right? Mm-hmm. But you still enjoy B-Hop and KZ, right?
Yes. Yes. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. But the learning process is frustrating, but I do enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the learning curve on all of these game modes is huge, especially surf. I think I had a debate about this with House yesterday, and we talked about so I said that I think the learning curve when it comes to surf is a lot bigger than, let's say, B-Hop, just because how the game mode works is a lot simpler when it comes to B-Hop. It's not simple, of course. I'm not saying it's easy. I respect B-Hoppers a lot. It's really hard. I tried. But I just think there's so much to serve, so much to take in, that the learning curve, or sorry, the skill cap is just up there, just higher.
I think in that aspect it depends on how much time you spend on, like, you could do all three, and I think that one is easier than the other, but somebody who mains B-Hop may think that it's easier to do B-Hop than it is surf. Someone who does surf may think that it's easier to do yeah, it's I guess at that point it's preferential, but I honestly think it's easier to learn how to function and move in surf than it is in B-Hop and KZ.
Yeah, it's easier to start, but the skill cap, I would say, is higher. I think Extra put it. She said it really well. She said, I think the depth of B-Hop matters a lot more on the complexity of the map you're playing versus surf, where you can do technical things on easier maps. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, B-Hop itself isn't that difficult. It's the map that makes it really difficult. It's, of course, that applies to surf as well, but
that applies to
of course that applies to every single movement game. But there's just a lot more. Actually, no. I mean, you can optimize low tier B-Hop maps a lot, right?
I mean, the way I look at it, I guess, is if you're looking at just getting into the game mode at first, B-Hop, you've only got the X-Y axis. You just got left and right? Mainly, at least, when you're starting out. Whereas Surf, you've got X, Y, Z. You got left, right, up, down that you got to worry about. And that is a bit more challenging because there's more aspects you have to learn and get good at and master in a sense before you're going to be able to properly start surfing. Whereas B-Hop, you just need to start jumping and start moving. Whilst both have incredibly high skill ceilings, I would say B-Hop is probably a bit easier to get into than Surf. I think a lot of people do start out in B-Hop because of that. And then we have some that move over to Surf, like Cymex, for example, moved to Surf later down the line.
Yeah. A lot of surfers did.
Yeah, exactly. You do like they are different movements that you're focusing on though between Surf and B-Hop. B-Hop is a lot more about the strafes, I feel like. And that's why some of these B-Hoppers that came to surf, they have some of the best strafes out of any surf there is. Surfing is much more, I feel, about just boarding your ramps really well and getting those lines as close as you can. Whereas I mean, I can't say I know much about B-Hop. I'm not very good at it. I've tried it and I suck. But basics wise, I would say it's just a bit easier. But I would say KZ is by far the hardest to learn. I can't do that to save my life.
Long jumps make me sad.
I can barely do a 240.
Oh, I tried doing a 245 and I couldn't hit it. But that was momentum mods fault because I'm not used to momentum and I play on CSS. Perfect. CSGO versus CSS. Jessy, Benowy, you both surf on CSGO, right? Benowy is a GFL surfer, right? Did I get it correctly? Yeah, GFL surfer, and Jessy is a Surf Heaven surfer. Whereas me, I like to surf on Counter-Strike Source. I know this does get a bit repetitive. A lot of people ask, a lot of people tell you this, but what's the difference between CSGO and CSS? And why do people surf on CSS and CSGO?
Are you asking
both of you, whoever goes?
Personally, or
oh yeah, personally, perfect.
like,
yeah,
technically.
Actually, let's say technically first. And if you're not comfortable with answering, I think Benowy could definitely, because he has surfed CSS, of course, as well.
Yeah, Ben could go ahead and answer that question.
Okay.
Jenny Peanut Brain.
I did start out on CSGO, and I had around $1,000 or so on CSGO before I moved to CSS initially. And the first thing, if you ever start in CSGO and you move to CSS, the thing you're gonna feel the most is initially CSS feels a lot smoother. It's a different experience in Surf altogether. You have that slightly smaller hitbox. You can change your yaw speed, which, as Nobody for One says here, you can't really do on CSGO. There's a couple workarounds, but nothing too crazy to my knowledge yet.
What is yaw speed for anyone that maybe doesn't know?
Yaw speed is okay. So in Surf, you use something called turn binds. And turn binds turn your character at a set rate, and that is determined by your yaw speed. And the default for yaw speed is 210. On CSS, you can change that value to whatever you'd like. So, for example, you'll see a lot of surfers out there on like low-tier unit maps or things like Corruption, even I guess. They would have a low yaw speed, so they can maintain those smooth curves around the maps or turns, like so they can do the turns at the speed they would like, what they feel comfortable with. And then if you go to more tech maps, you might raise it up. Albeit I don't know many that go above 210.
Depends on the spins.
Yeah, but that is a huge feature to have, which is mainly available in Source, being able to change that. In CSGO, the only real way you can change that is by walking, or you can use auto hotkey, and I heard there was a program made for it as well, but I haven't tested that yet. But by walking, it slows down your yaw speed by 1/3, if I remember right from Awesome. So it takes it down to around 140 yaw speed.
Yeah, I think it's
which is
135.
much more manageable. Yeah, so that's for I think quite a lot of us. That's the main thing we do on CS:GO when it comes to changing yaw speed. I mean, for the majority of the time, I'm going to be holding down walk when I'm using my turn binds. Yeah. Obviously, not for the faster spins, but for the majority of the time, that is a much more comfortable speed for the turn binds to get actual value out of them, because otherwise you're going to smack into the walls. And while some can do it, moving against the turn bind to slow it down with your mouse,
oh no, that's impossible.
I feel is really uncomfortable.
Too hard.
Cymex does it.
Wait,
but
really?
I think he does. But I think he's one of the exceptions. I can't do it, and I don't know many others that can.
Okay, so what we gathered from this podcast so far is that Cymex is amazing, and he's a 5-head when it comes to surf.
He's great at the unit maps. Anything unit, that's what he's great at. But yeah, so
yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's pretty much in regard to at least a turbine with the yaw speed in regards to the difference between those two.
Yeah.
You do have the different feelings of the game. If you try out Source or just download Momentum mod, there is a public version anybody can download. Then you can see what it feels like on Source if you currently play on Go and you haven't tried it out before. And it is a very different feeling. Your pre-strafes are completely different between the two games. Boarding ramps, everything is just a bit different. So now that I've been on CS:GO for a long time and I stopped Source around half a year ago, I haven't. If I go back to Source now, I will not be able to do well. To put it that way, it
Yeah.
they feel so different that it's very hard to switch back and forth between them.
Same as how if I would like if I were to change to CS:GO, I probably couldn't beat a tier 4 map.
I would say if you went to CS:GO, I mean, one of the main issues you'd probably have is, for one, smacking your head a lot more, because on CSS you do have that smaller hitbox. So if you're used to going just a bit closer to the roof or what have you, you don't have that option in CS:GO to the same extent. You also might end up just spining ramps more.
Yeah. Plus, I depend on turbines a lot. I have low yaw speed. I normally, if I'm playing smooth maps, for example, Cannonball or Who Knows 3, I had a yaw speed of 70. Don't hate me, because I just like to assist most of my turns, and I know Caffrey is one of the surfers that does that a lot as well. I watched him when I was watching him play. What was it? Not So Zen, I think. Yeah, and he had keys on. You could just see he turbines a lot. But what's the so coming from talking about the differences between CS:GO and CSS? Another big difference as well is the tick rate. Normally most of the servers that you join, so yeah, the optimal, the normal tick rate for surf on CS:GO is 64. But there's a lot of servers.
Anymore, if I was honest.
Yeah, probably not on CS:GO anymore. Yeah, now that I think about it.
Like 64 tick is where you go if you want to be really competitive, right? That's like KSF, 66 tick.
Yeah, but when you look at MBN, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not like you can't be competitive in the other tick rates.
Yeah.
But that's at least where it has been, right? In my opinion. Like that's where you went to get better, for one. I mean, when I first moved to CSS, the main reason I moved is because I wanted to improve it, surf. And when you go to those lower tick rates, you get punished for making mistakes a lot more, which forces you to do it better. When you're in higher tick rates, you don't get punished nearly as well, or as much, sorry. Which I guess is one of the reasons why, if you go to a 100 tick server, you'll see lots of people that have maybe have surfed for even years, but they might not have improved that much. And I think that's just because they haven't been punished enough to where they have to improve. So it's much harder to improve, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I wouldn't class that as the main tick anymore on CS:GO.
Yeah,
I would say they're all quite similar nowadays. It's just they have different uses in a sense.
Yeah, I didn't say it correctly. What I meant to say is the most competitive, let's say, tick rates. I mean, because the most competitive tick rate and game mode, game for CSS, for surf is definitely CSS, and you play surf on 66 tick, and if you want to play on the CSS equivalent of surf on CS:GO, you would definitely have to play on 64 tick. And you guys may be thinking, oh, 2 ticks, that probably doesn't make that much of a difference, right?
The difference is a huge amount on some maps.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
especially if the map is longer and if it's unit based. Let's say, I know I was talking to House a couple of, I think it was yesterday. Surf Cairo is a minute and 40 long tier 5 linear map. And the record on CSS is, I think, 1 minute 41, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, the record on Surf Heaven, which is arguably the most competitive 64-tick server on CS:GO, Benowy.
Yeah, I would say it is the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a top of 64 tick for sure.
Yeah. And I think, I'm not really sure, so don't quote me on it. I think it's 1:44 seconds. 1 minute 44 seconds. And the CS:GO run is not bad. It's really not bad. The checkpoint 1 units, and I think on some other checkpoints, the units are practically the same. But there's just some turns and some stuff that just... Oh, it's 143. Thank you, Nasal.
43.93.
Which is 144.
Yeah.
Which is still which is a 3-second difference, which is a lot on serve. So that 2-tick difference makes a difference, makes a huge difference.
It's not just the 2-tick difference, though. Keep in mind, CS:GO is still a different game. You don't have the yaw speed, and you do a bigger hitboxes, which will have an impact. But those 2 ticks do make a huge impact on unit maps for sure.
But saying that, because CSS is so dominant on 66-tick, it's the most competitive serve. All the big guys are playing it, right? But saying that, higher tick rate surfing is a lot more popular in CS:GO than it is on CSS. There's a lot, and I may have an idea why, as to why that is. It's probably because CS:GO is just a more played game than CSS.
I wouldn't say that, actually.
I mean, a lot of zoomers that play CS:GO and just want to go serve are gonna do it on CS:GO. They aren't just gonna switch CSS just because they want to serve.
The main reason I would say higher tick rate is more prominent on CS:GO, for example, is CS:GO is a much more social game in Surf than it is on CSS. In CSS, I surfed there for around 2 years or so, I think. And I think I maybe saw one guy speak in voice chat once, and there's barely anything in chat ever. Whereas on CS:GO, if you go to most populated servers, people are talking non-stop.
Oh, yeah.
And when they're talking, they're not focusing on perfecting their runs or anything like that. They're just relaxing. And I think that's one of the main prominent features, because they don't want to be punished for the surf being difficult. They just want to do the surf and talk. I think that's one of the main reasons, personally.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring Jessy back into the conversation. So, Jess, why do you surf CS:GO? Because I have seen you surf CSS in the past.
It was initially because the old server that I had mentioned before. I had basically stockpiled my way up to top 50, and I didn't want to start over.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'm sorry, small bladder. Don't hate me.
Okay. But I didn't want to start over point wise. But after the server went down, I switched. For a little bit, I did play on CSS, but one thing that really is important to me is community, like game community, which I know is really hard when, especially with public servers.
Yeah.
And I did have not the best experience on CSS, so I went back to CS:GO, and but I will say, like, I haven't heard anybody mention it, but like one of the things that like I prefer over CSS to CS:GO is the strafing. I don't know what it is about it. It just feels so much better. It might be in my head. I don't know, but it just feels so nice. But yeah, I did try. It's just I stuck around sort of heaven mainly for community, and then ended up building up from there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that as well. I mean, the community aspect is big. That's one of the reasons why I came back to CS:GO after playing CSS for quite a long time. it's just nice having people around you talk to all the time and so forth. CSS is quite closed off, I would say, in that aspect.
Loners for life.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Did you wash your hands?
Dude, I've been holding it. I've been holding it in for so long.
You day?
I used the bidet, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Let's not talk about it, okay?
We do have a few questions. I've been like copying and pasting all the questions into the
yeah. Dolce.
So I've got a couple here that we can go through.
Yeah, Dolce. Dolce. We're gonna answer yours later because it's. Did you get to Dolce's? Live Dolce.
Let me see.
I can copy and paste it.
I haven't. I've got it copied and pasted. I don't have it. We haven't spoken about it though.
Yeah. Because it's streaming based, I wanna do it a bit later. But yeah, so
I'll just keep writing them down.
So I don't know what I missed. Doesn't matter. Hope you guys had a nice chat. Yeah, let's go on to some of the questions. So because this is streamed live currently, there's a big advantage of live streaming it, and that is that we can get live feedback from people and questions. So Ben, would you like to do the honors of picking one?
I mean, I guess we just go to Dolce here.
Oh.
I mean, I think we've done. I might have missed some. I hope not. But I've got 4 here down. One from Beetle, one from 2MKZA, one from Dolce, and one from Nzombie.
Beetle? Pog?
Beetle's one was what's everybody's favorite map and favorite types of map. But that we've already kind of.
Oh yeah. So yeah. That's the reason why I segued into the maps. It was because of Beetle's question.
Yeah.
So thank you, Beetle. I see Nzombi's question.
Yeah.
Why you guys started surfing and what was the feeling of doing it for the first time? That's a great question. Jessy, would you like to start?
I started surfing because I was looking for a way to not play Gmod all the time because that's where I started. Sorry, the mode that I was playing on Gmod all the time, which is murder with an old group of friends. I was kind of getting tired of it, but I still wanted to like keep my hours in Gmod up because I thought it was cool to have 800 hours on a game. So I went and joined a surf server on Gmod out of curiosity of what it was, and I loved it. So yeah, that's why I started surfing, is because I was just goofing around on Gmod and found it there. Not as interesting as, you know.
I mean, mine is gonna be really dull. So, Ben, I'm doing something. So try and.
I bought CS:GO because my uncle was or used to be a pro CS player for a bit. So he still plays to this day. He's played a lot.
Wait, really?
So I bought it to come and play with him. And then I hated the game. I hated how the guns felt, all of that. I mean, Call of Duty, I love how that feels. You know, you point and click, boom, you do it. What do you do, right? They die. And here, it's just everything is everywhere. You move and you can't shoot anymore, and it just felt wrong to me. So I didn't touch the game for a while, and then I heard about surf. I think I saw a video on YouTube. I think it was one of Wayne's videos. He's what got me into surf initially, at least properly into surf. And yeah, started surfing. My first map was Surf Rookie. It took 2 hours. It was painful. It was horrific. I had help from other people doing it, but when I did it, it felt great, so I kept on going. And Ronin, how about you?
Yeah, me,
Ronin,
am I?
Yeah, he is.
I'm not muted on stream. Sorry, I muted myself because I'm doing a lot of things. Yeah. I started surfing in April last year. And it was mainly because of quarantine. I was bored. School just wasn't that big of a problem. So, and at the time, me and my friends were playing a lot of. We never really played that much of CS:GO. We often played. We often played League of Legends and stuff like that. But we started playing CS:GO a lot, and we started playing workshop maps. We started playing a lot of hide and seek. And then one day, a friend of mine said, "Hey, would you like to try surfing?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Sorry. I mean, fuck it. Yeah. So yeah, let's try it. And I just got obsessed. I got so much into it that I started watching streams. I started watching tutorials on how to surf. I started getting friends of surf on surf in the community, and I think in about a month or 2 months into surfing, I bought a new mouse pad, a huge one, and lowered my mouse sense because that was the one thing that everyone was saying to do.
Oh, that must have felt good.
Oh fuck yeah! I went from I think 1600 cents 3 cents 1600 DPI to 800 by 2, I think. So yeah. It improved my surf skills a lot.
It is one of the biggest upgrades you can get to your kit. A big mouse mat is heaven.
Oh, and a good mouse, a good sensor. Because I used to surf on a €3 mouse from AliExpress. So whenever I tried to do a quick 180, my sensor would just spaz out and I would start looking up or down. I just wouldn't know where I was going.
No.
So when I got my G502 that I still have, changed my surfing experience. Gotta say. Ben, just a question.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll go to Leonardo's question.
Yeah, I was looking at that one as well.
On how momentum mod is going to impact communities on both CSS and CS:GO. Jessy.
Ooh.
Okay. I don't think it will that much, personally, because there's still going to be maybe CSS more than CS:GO, because of what you guys mentioned earlier, the player base mostly, because there are just constantly people on CS:GO. I don't know how big the player base for CSS is, but I don't think it's gonna terribly affect communities and like servers and stuff on CS:GO. I think that it's gonna be fun, but I don't think it's gonna make. I don't think Impact's gonna be great. Surfing's gonna be great. Everything about it is gonna be great.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be anything detrimental, like to any servers or any communities or anything like that.
I think it's not gonna affect the servers and the communities at all, because
yeah.
Let's say when it comes to KSF, right? Because KSF is the most competitive surf server on CSS, of course, not KSF Go. We don't talk about KSF Go. So because CSS KSF is just so competitive, and because all of that data is all of the records, all of the runs of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, I don't think that's going to have that big of an effect. But I do think momentum mod is going to have a huge effect on mappers and people that let's say entertainers or people that make YouTube videos, because it's going to be a lot easier to get a replay from momentum than from CSS, because you can literally just press one button and get a replay of your run. And I think that's a great feature for, let's say, YouTubers or people that want to do, let's say, surfing tutorials or stuff like that. Or just plebs like me that want to post their +9 seconds to the world record Cairo runs. What about you, Ben? What do you think?
I mean, I think it'll have a pretty big impact, actually, especially on the CSS scene more than anything else. CSGO, in general, I don't think it'll have that big of an effect on it. But the reason I think CSS is it localizes everything for one a bit more. You've got all different styles, but it's the most competitive place you can think of to progress. I don't have to word this. You don't need private servers anymore. You can play whatever you want whenever you want. So it's going to be more for the pro scene, the high end scene, where that's going to really make an impact, I think, because it's going to be a place where you can practice easily and improve. Whereas KSF, if you don't have a private server, then good luck trying to get the map you want to play.
True.
Same with CSGO. There's just not as many high-end players on CSGO or people that really want to push there, in my opinion. Which is why I think the impact's going to be bigger on Source. I don't know how it'll actually affect the server if the players will move or not. I mean, I've had the pleasure of being part of the closed alpha for Momentum mod, and they currently have a global leaderboard, so you can always see who's got what recs whenever, even if you're not on the same server. You can open localized lobbies with your friends, so you don't need to have a full server with people. You can just invite your friend on, they can come play with you, which is a fantastic feature. And you can play every kind of movement game there is. It's not just for Surf, it's for B-Hop, KZ, and everything. And I think that's also quite big.
Exactly, yeah.
It brings everything a bit more together. It makes it easier to try out the different game modes as well. I mean, I've never played Rocket Jump, for example. When this is out, I'm going to give that a go because I no longer need to download TF2. I can just try it straight in Momentum mod.
Same.
That kind of stuff.
Same.
But I do agree for mappers, this is huge. And I mean, we've already seen how big it is. They use it all the time from what I've seen, and it makes testing maps a lot easier as well.
Yeah, everyone uses it. At least for testing, right? Because it's just so convenient. You save it, load it, and it's there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree with you, Ben, to some degree, but I think if the Momentum mod team would go to such lengths to, let's say, get in touch with Untouch, and to copy, yeah, but that's just so much work, right?
I mean, to my knowledge, they're not going to do that. From what I remember when I spoken to I can't remember his name right now. Goknak, that's the one. Like they are gonna open up servers which are free for everybody. So there will be public servers as well there. But I do think the main thing is just you can play whatever you want, whenever you want. There's no limitations on what you can do in that regard. Where there is on KSF, there is on CSGO and everywhere else.
Yeah. I think people will definitely go there, play Momentum. We don't know how competitive it's gonna get. It's definitely gonna get competitive. But I think that a lot of the top tier players won't switch completely to Momentum. Just because of the legacy that they have on CSS, right?
I mean, I would definitely agree with that as well. I mean, they put so much time into CSS, they wouldn't want to just abandon all of that and just start fresh again. And Momentum, what Festive said there is they do want to start fresh.
Yeah. If nothing else, you can use Momentum as a practice tool, just because of how free you are. You can play, as you said, you can play whatever map, whatever game mode at any time, like how long you want. Because you're not limited to a server. Plus, you're not limited to ping, which is amazing as well.
Yeah, that is phenomenal.
So I think people will use it for. I think people will use it for, at least me. I will definitely use it for, let's say, practicing and stuff like that. But maybe if I want to go for a run and maybe get some more points on KSF servers, I may just switch over to get an actual run there. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see, right? It's scheduled for Yeah, go on.
It's scheduled for summer this year, but we don't know if they'll make that. But I'd say one of the biggest things that they've done really for the surf community is, for example, the Momentum Fix, the Momentum Mod Fix plugin, which basically eliminates ramp bugs, which is completely public to any server. And I think that is absolutely huge what they've done for the community there.
Yeah.
So big respect to those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, big respect to the whole team. Big respect to I always butcher his name. Gognak? Gognak, yeah. Big respect. I know they've been getting a good amount of hate, but it's a free project. It's people that aren't getting paid for it. It's mostly students, programmers that are doing this for fun, and they're doing it for the movement-based game modes community, right? And I think it's great, and I think it's gonna be great. We just have to give them the time that they need. And one of the things that I wanted to say as well, I think Momentum is gonna be great for tournaments, just because of zero ping, and the whole better surf that it's gonna offer you.
Yeah, I didn't even think about tournaments.
Yeah, Truck said that.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Truck said that he is planning on making a tournament as soon as it goes out. Not sure if it's still in planning or not. So I'm not gonna say too much, but I have talked to him on stream once, and he said that he wants to do it. So yeah.
And the fact that you have those just lobbies that you can make with any friend, just invite them in.
Exactly.
It makes it much easier to host any kind of competition. You no longer need to make a private server. You just bring them in and you get going.
Yeah. Plus I think it's going to be a lot easier to integrate I think it's going to be a lot easier to integrate a timer or just a special feature just for tournaments.
Ronin, quick question. Do you have Discord open? Because if so, I'll just start posting all of the questions inside the our little group.
Oh yeah, but I can't I can't check them because the whole overlay is
it's gonna die.
No, it's not gonna die, but if I it's streaming you guys, so
okay.
Yeah, you can just give us the next one.
Let me see. Which do we pick now? That's only really two left, I guess. We've got two from Dolce. The first one is question for everybody. Something that you now know that you wish you knew before you started streaming. In essence, top 3 tips for newer streamers. And he also says, awesome name for the podcast.
Thanks, bud. Dude, you don't know how much stress there was. I was stressing so hard.
You should have seen him. We were in a call just before this started. As soon as Beetle started speaking in chat, he was freaking out. It was so funny.
Okay. Let's not talk about it. Yeah. When it comes to surf streamers, I think we're doing pretty well. That is me, Ben, and Jessy. We're not. Of course, I'm talking when it comes to the surf community. When it comes to streamers, we're small. We're really small. But when it comes to the surf community, I think we're doing pretty well. For ourselves, and I think the communities that we've built are great. Top 3 tips though for beginners. I'd say that it's hard to go out of your skin. If you're either made for it, for talking and entertaining, or you're not. So just be yourself. I think that's the most important thing. Be yourself, and through time, and of course give time its time, because there's not going to be people rushing into your streams in, let's say, the first month of you starting streaming. You have to stream consistently. You have to, and when you do stream consistently, you will get consistent viewers that will come there for you, not for not so much for the content that you're playing, which is at least the most important thing for me, right? And always work on making the stream better for you and for everybody else. Always try and upgrade yourself. So I think that's what I would like to say. And of course, just keep at it, because maybe you're on 1 or 2 viewers for now, but like it's gonna kick off. So just keep at it and do what you want to do what you love. If you don't feel like streaming, don't stream. If you want to stream, if you want to talk to beautiful peeps on Twitch, shout out to chat, do it. So, input from you guys?
It ties in kind of with what you said. Be patient, not only with yourself, but with the people that do come. Because as your viewership grows, and it will over time, you will have very difficult people to deal with. And your reaction to those people, it kind of like sets the tone for a stream, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's that. And don't look at your viewer count. Good Lord, do not look at your viewer count. I did that for so long and I beat myself up over it. Do not look at your viewer count. Like, it's fine. You got 2 viewers, it's fine. You got those 2 viewers. You got 10 viewers, cool. Don't look at your viewer count. Just don't do it. Just talk to the people that are there. Care about the people that are there. Easy peasy. Okay.
I would like to say the last thing you should do is do what Bash just suggested in chat. That is the very last thing you should ever consider doing. Don't listen to Bash here.
For people who are listening, for people who are just listening, don't buy view boards. Just be yourself, and people will come. Believe me.
Have fun with the stream and have fun with the game you're playing. If you're not gonna have fun, then why bother?
Yeah.
It's not worth streaming something you're not gonna enjoy, right? Because why would somebody watch you play something you're not enjoying yourself? Why would they have fun with that? So just play what you like, stream what you like, and have fun with it. And that's about it. Then the rest follows along.
Woo, wholesomeness. Woo.
Woo. Huggers. So yeah, I think TLDR, just be patient with it. It's gonna kick off sooner or later. Like, people have been going at it for years and are maybe stuck on, let's say, 30 viewers, but they are 100% happy with what they have, just because of the community that they've built. It depends on what kind of a with what you want to do with streaming, right? Because if you want to get money off of streams, then you're of course gonna try and promote yourself as much as you can, try and get deals with some brands, like sponsorships, stuff like that. But if you just want to stream for a couple of people and chat with a couple of people just to make an hour go away as soon as possible, just keep at it. And it's like, it's...
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
You only stream for you have streams that are just an hour long?
Oh, no, of course not.
I was gonna say, I think the shortest stream I've ever done is at least 3 hours.
Yeah. Should we jump on another question? Or Ben, do you have anything to add on?
I mean, just have fun, yeah. I mean, your viewer count doesn't matter. The thing you gotta really think about is just, if you have 1 or 2 people watching you, there's still 1 or 2 people spending their evening having fun watching you, and that's still huge in its own right. And then obviously, if they enjoy it, they'll spread the word around, and you grow as is. So just have fun and yeah, have patience and you'll get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's the last question?
Copying, pasting some new questions down here. Give me a sec.
Wait. Let me just ask you guys. How long would you want to go on? Because I think there was a 15-minute timer at the beginning, so we're at around an hour and 30.
45.
Yeah. But let's just go for a little bit more, and we'll see where it goes.
I'm having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun. So yeah, hit us with another question.
We have 3 questions. One is for me, one is for you, and one's for everyone. Which do you want?
Let's end on the everyone. So
okay,
either me or you.
Let's start with you then. What the mouth do? Question mark joke. Any plans for streaming other games like the Ori stream?
Somehow I knew that was the one.
Fuck off. It's undisclosed information. But yeah, I will definitely be streaming other games if people want it. Of course, I will. But yeah, that's not appropriate for the podcast, Ben. What the fuck?
I don't know what that means.
Of course, you know.
Obviously, it means how well you can articulate your words.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I mean, you can see the questions as well.
I know, but I didn't think you would pick it.
It's the only one meant targeted towards you.
You troll. Okay, what's the one targeted at you? Let's do that one.
So Dulce asked me, you surfed a lot of half sideways. What do you enjoy about the different surf styles?
Oh,
I do still surf a lot of half sideways. Oh, what were you gonna say, Ron? Sorry.
Yeah. Before we go on to that, I just want to say that if sorry about that. You're not supposed to be posting links, buddy. So yeah. Before we go on to that, I just want to clear it up for maybe people that don't know what half-sided surf means. So surf is normally forwards, right? When you hit a ramp on its right side, you would normally hold the A key to stick onto the ramp and just go with the ramp, right? That's how surf works. And then you have different styles of surf. They are half sideways, and backwards. They're mostly self-explanatory. So sideways surf is you just look 90 degrees either into the ramp or out of the ramp, and you don't hold A or D anymore, but you hold W or S. For backwards, self-explanatory as well. You just don't look forward, you look backwards, and instead of using A, instead of using A, you use D for the left side of the ramp, and vice versa for the right one. Half sideways is literally what it is. Yeah,
it's a special case, though.
Yeah, it is a special case because for every single direction that you're looking at, you have to hold one key. So if you're surfing forwards, you have to hold either A or D. But when it comes to half sideways surf, it's weird because you angle yourself in a 45-degree angle, and holding just one button isn't enough anymore. You have to hold either. Yeah, of course you can have binds for that, but
there are 3 styles of half sideways.
Okay, you can take it over. I'm not. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, there's around 3 styles in a sense within half sideways. You've got binded half sideways, which is when you use a bind, which whenever I press A, it will press W and A, and when I press D, it will press S and D. So it's the same keys as normal, more or less. Just you're going to be angled 45 degrees to the left every time, which it adds on a lot of difficulty because you see a lot less of what's going on. So that's the main style for half sideways. That's the competitive half sideways. Then you have one of the old school half sideways, which, I mean, the only person I've really seen pull this off effectively is Trufflecopter, I think it was, which is when you do that manually, pressing WA and S and D manually. Problem is, it's ridiculously difficult to do, especially on a modern keyboard with low delay, to actually sync that up. If you go a tiny bit out of sync, then your run's going to cancel. So that isn't really used anymore at all. And then the third style is, you'll see it, or not a lot, but you'll see it in B-Hop, where you hold down W the entire time and you just press A and D. It's not used much in Surf, but it's quite fun. There are a few that do it, and I do it a little bit as well. And then you have to do a 180 every time you turn. So it's 45 degrees to the left or 45 degrees to the right.
I've seen that before, yeah.
So you have to. It's a lot of turning. So I mean, for me, I have to up my sense by around 50% to do that. And if you look at the top B hoppers who do that, they snap almost instantly side to side with it.
Yeah.
It's I really recommend checking it out. It is phenomenal to watch. But the reason, or what I enjoy about it, I guess, is it adds a different challenge, to Surf. Because normal Surf, you're just looking forward. You can see where you're going. You can see the route quite clearly. When you add half sideways to the mix, for example, 45 degrees to the left, suddenly the right half of your screen is cut off. So you have to start looking for different things to know when to turn and so forth, which makes it adds another layer of difficulty, but quite a fun one in my opinion. So you start looking out for things like light sources on a wall. So if you have a completely blind turn to the right, you'd wait until you see that light source and then turn, because you know, okay, that's where the opening is. I turn into that. And that's kind of the same, I think, with sideways as well. You have to start using different visual cues, I guess, to know where to go. It's not quite as straightforward, and that I think is quite a fun challenge. So I do recommend it for anybody that wants to try.
Yeah, it's a different way of surfing. It's a bit harder. It's definitely a bit harder. But when you get used to it, dude, whew, Danger is probably the best. Actually, he is the best.
He is the best active half sideways surfer,
yeah,
definitely.
For sideways, for example, we have Cryptus is definitely up there. I mean, I'm very biased. He just got a no fail on Shoria. Dude is insane.
That was ridiculous.
And of course, for anyone who doesn't know him, if you don't, you're Louis, the god amongst men.
Precious bean.
You can't forget about Maggie.
Oh, of course, Maggie. Yeah,
the god of sideways.
The omnific complete Mister.
The Tronic only 3 seconds behind Dinsa and sideways.
Insane.
Top 10
insane.
normal as well. And you have Kex and what's this, the other guy? You got Kex for backwards. Do you remember the other guy? Orkan,
yeah.
Kex and Orkan are the top backward surfers, I think.
What I just want to say, give these people, these people their praise, because it's a lot harder. I know it's maybe a bit harder to watch because you don't really know where you're going, but believe me, neither does the streamer. It's literally muscle memory at that point, right, Ben?
I wouldn't say that.
I mean not completely,
but it's, you have to learn the maps more to be able to do them.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down a lot to learning those visual cues. I can't say too much about backwards or sideways. I'm not great at those, but
I mean, sideways is just a 45 degree to half sideways. So
I mean, I would say sideways and backwards are very similar almost.
Yeah,
because they're both staring straight down to the ground. Sideways, you still see more.
Yeah.
But they're staring straight down the majority of the time, and that is very difficult. You got to react quick to what you're seeing, and yeah, what some of these guys can do is insane.
Okay, so did you ask the question? I mean, answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. If
there's
anything else Ulti wants to know, then I'm happy to answer, but I think that covers it more or less.
Okay. Perfect. And the last question we're gonna tackle on for this one?
That would be from 2MKZA. Tips for newer surfers. How to stay motivated in any way to get better on surf fast. Brackets. I want to know. I'm a pleb.
Who?
Jessy.
Yeah, just
watch people. Okay, that was really quick, and that sounded kind of trolly, but no, honestly, watch people.
Creepy.
Yeah. No. One of like the hurdles that I personally go through is I think that I'm too. I think, okay, yeah, I can learn this by myself without watching anybody or like watching bot or something like that. But like honestly, if you just watch people, you would be surprised at how much it helps. It's honestly kind of crazy because like I think my improvement is English. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is dependent on them.
Not dependent. I think that the amount that I've improved has been because I sucked it up and I watched people, or I watched bots, or I just sat and I spectated some of my even not mediocre people who are a little bit better than me, watching them, learning from them what they're doing. Like this is how I learned a little bit. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ben, we forgot about Weezer. That guy's insane as well. I just wanted to throw that out because I like the guy personally. It's a biased opinion again, but he's just such a cutie. But yeah, back to the topic. Yeah, definitely. Watch people that are better than you. There's always going to be someone better than you. Let me rephrase that. There's always going to be someone that's going to do a part of the map better than you in some shape or form. Maybe it's...
Unless if you're Levi.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to add on to Jesse's monologue there. Don't watch Levi replay bots, because you won't understand anything he does, because he pulls units out of thin air. Just don't.
That is true. I mean, they're great to watch. They're fun to watch, but they're hard to learn from, because even trying to do some of the stuff he does in 85 tick, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I don't know where he gets units from.
He's on another level, dude.
It's witchcraft.
Yeah. What I want is a tip. A tip. I can't give you many tips. I'm not that good of a surfer. Definitely not a beginner anymore, but I would say that just keep grinding. Don't let the maps and the skill the learning curve of surf, don't let it bring you down. Of course it's going to bring you down, because it's there are going to be maps that you're just never going to be able to, I mean, you're going to feel like you're never going to be able to complete them. But you just go to a different map, you try different things, and believe me, and let's say a month from then, you're going to be able to complete that map. Just keep on grinding and try to improve on little things like pre-strafe, boarding, leaving entering ramps. So yeah, boarding ramps. And yeah, like don't lose motivation. You don't need to competitively surf. It is a competitive game mode. It's a really competitive game mode, but you don't need to be that competitive at it. Because surf is, a lot of people have said this already, but surf is a very fun game mode for all skill levels. Even if you're just a rookie and you hop into, like, say, Surf Heaven on CSGO and you just talk to people or just have a blast. Or you're someone like Calf and you jump onto your private server, get 3 WRs just like that, and that's fun for you as well, right?
Yeah.
Ben, anything you wanna? Oh, Jesse, go on.
Hmm?
You said.
Oh, I would. Yes.
Oh, just weird noises. Okay, we're used to it. Ben.
Okay, I've got a couple things I would say. For one, how to not lose motivation. Play the maps you enjoy and play with people you enjoy playing with. I think that is quite a big part of it. If you lose motivation, you're not going to improve. You're going to stop playing, and that's about it, right? It's no longer fun. So don't grind maps that you don't enjoy. Is something I would definitely suggest. If you enjoy the map, go hard at it. If you don't, find a map you like. That's at least for motivation. And one of the things for improving yourself. I mean, the way I went about improving was constantly trying to do maps that were harder than what I was able to do before at the start, right? So when I was a T3 surfer, I would start, like, I could beat some T3s, but I couldn't beat T4s at the time. I would start going to T4 maps, maybe even T5, and I would grind them until I could do them. That's one way I would say. Push yourself, so you're forced to get better. It's a bit like going to lower tick servers. You're forced to play better, otherwise you won't be able to beat it. So that's a good way to practice. That punishing aspect to it, I think, is a big help in getting better. So it doesn't really matter what your tick rate is, as long as you can challenge yourself.
Yeah.
One thing that was said in chat as well, which is really important if you really want to get to the top, is save locking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to explain what that is?
Of course. So most surf servers, I think all of them, but the commands may differ, have this command option, which is called save lock. And essentially what it does is when you're running a map, you can save, when you press the button, it automatically saves the location in the air where you're at, and it's going to save all of your units and your trajectory, your direction, and everything. And with another bind, which is teleport or load lock, I think, on some servers. Yeah. You can then teleport to that save log. Of course, that's not gonna count towards your time, but you can see how much of a better time you can get, or you can just practice a single part of the map that's giving you problems. Let's say there's a spin that you just can't get. So you fly towards the spin, make a save log, and then just constantly teleport to it. Practice that spin, practice the board on the ramp after the spin. And the more you save log, the more you practice it, the better you're gonna get at it. It's literally just a practice tool. It allows you, it allows you to save a location in.
Yeah, I would also say, for example, if you're just trying to run the map as is, say it's a linear map that's a minute long, you're not going to get practice at the end of the map until you get there. And if you're still quite new or whatever tier the map is, if it's a tough map, it's going to be hard to get there consistently. So if you haven't practiced that ending, that's going to be very difficult to do in run all of a sudden. It's going to take a lot longer as well than if you just practiced it through those save logs, through those checkpoints, and got to it like that.
Yeah.
So you can practice each map over and over, or each segment of the map that's giving you trouble, or just go through it a few times in save lock so you learn the map as well. I guess the final way I'd say to get better is to do low. If you prefer low tier maps over trying to push the high tier like I did, try to improve your time as much as you can. Try to cut those corners tighter. Try to get better cuts, better boards, push your units more. Just see what you can to improve. As Jessy and Ron said, watch those replays, see what they're doing differently from you, and try to incorporate that into your own runs. And I think that's about it from me there.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add on to that, Jessy?
I mean, it fits with the practice thing. I was gonna suggest, like, because I know when you're starting out surf, it's a big pain in the butt to learn how to land on the start of ramps and learn how to leave ramps. So I was gonna suggest practice like how you start a ramp and how you end a ramp, and then figure out the middle in between. Like,
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because that was one thing I had like a big trouble with was when I first started surfing, I would always flick. No matter what kind of ramp it was, I would always flick. If it's curved ramp, I would flick. If it was straight ramp, I would flick. It didn't matter where the next ramp was, but
yeah,
that's yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's a really common thing among beginners. But I would like to take this this moment just because we're talking about this a big shout out to Orson or Angle CS on YouTube. He did a good amount of surf tutorial videos for not only beginners. I mean, it's aimed at beginners, but it helps out. It helps out even the best of players because it's just those things that you don't look at when you're at a certain point in surf. Like when I just want to go for a completion, I don't normally look at how I board a ramp because most of the maps that I play, let's say tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 maps, don't usually require that much from me. But if you're going for a good time or a harder map, how you board, how you board, the way you board it, and the way you board the ramp, and how you're gonna leave the ramp, how you're gonna surf on the ramp itself is really important. And could wait, Nemesis, could you link his YouTube? I know you have it somewhere. He has really really good commentary tutorials, and if you want to get better, I really recommend you check them out. Orson is probably the smartest surf player when it comes to surf.
He has basically studied surf, so he knows the ins and outs of what it takes to get good at surf and what it takes to min-max maps. So his guides, I definitely would recommend as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I hope those answers were satisfactory. Is that even a word?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think should we? I don't know. Should we drag it on a bit longer? I have two more things that we can talk about. That's a question.
I mean, I'm
Sure,
down.
sure.
Yeah, we can go through this and then we're gonna wrap it up for today. So I'm looking at the TXT file, Ben. And
Yep.
I want to ask both of you. I know we have talked about favorite maps. What about bonuses? Because every single map has at least one bonus, and
Almost.
yeah, yeah, almost every single map has at least one bonus. Some go a little overboard and have 10 bonuses, 20 bonuses. And I think bonuses get overlooked quite often just because they're a different way of different way of surfing it almost. They're normally quite shorter, but they have a lot of story in them. It's just it's compact surf, right? So I want to ask you, Ben and Jesse, what would your favorite bonuses be? I know Ben said Midsummer before.
Yep, that is correct.
Which is a tier 10,000 bonus. It's spins into a royal spin into an anti-grav royal spin into just straight up pain.
You've got around 50 seconds of normal spins first, which are quite fun, super satisfying segments to it. Then you have the first part of the royal is quite easy. It's not too bad. It's quite open and wide. So you've got a normal royal, then that goes into an anti-grav royal, and then it goes into the original royal, which is the hard one.
Yeah.
I think that one of the most crazy things about that bonus, though, is that very few people knew. Even Orson didn't know this when I spoke to him. The royal spin doesn't change direction ever. It's a right spin the entire way through, and very few people have actually realized that. But until this came out, unlike when you go to the anti-grav part, I just plus left the entire way up. The reason you can't just plus right the way down, though, is
You're
because the
too
way it's
fast.
laid out. I'm too fast. Oh, sorry.
No. Is it because you're too fast and the
Oh,
angle?
like that. Shit, sorry.
Yeah,
I
and
do.
the angle and the angle
I
just gets
wouldn't say
impossible.
I wouldn't say it's because you're too fast. I would say it's because there's a big split in the middle, and you see that a lot in the first spin or the first royal in Midsummer B4. It shows a gap. You don't have those cross beams blocking your way, so you can see it quite clearly.
Yeah.
And that gap is just enough that if you were to line the spin all the way around, it wouldn't line up at the bottom. So it forces you to turn the other direction to make up for that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Is at least how I thought of it. Like it, I don't think you can continue the spin if you just keep pasting those triangles around and around. I don't think they would line up. I think they are spread out just enough that it forces you. I think it's around maybe 180 degrees or something like that off that you have to turn to make it through.
Yeah.
But when you're going on the anti-grab one, it's quite slow to begin with, and then you can just keep spinning up into it and get straight out. But I thought that was quite an interesting thing as well, which I only learned with that bonus and lots of others as well.
Interesting. What about you, Jess? Do you even have a favorite bonus?
I do.
You do?
But it's weird, and people will think I'm weird.
Even better.
Of course you are weird. We already know that.
It's I don't know if it's the same on every server, because like servers have different versions of it. I actually have two that are kind of like even.
Yeah.
But they're both B-Hop bonuses.
Ooh.
But like I said, it might be bonus 2, it might be bonus 3 on different servers. It's I think it's bonus 2 on Surf Heaven of Minecraft 2016. It's a B-Hop bonus. Surprise, surprise. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really nice. It like the one that's tied with it is it's not on any other version, and I don't know why, but Koga made I think it was Koga made a B-Hop bonus for Surf Kitsune, and I love it so much. And it's so nice. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Tried that Kitsune bonus a couple times. It's horrible.
It's not on.
I can't do it.
It's not on CSS, right? Because
it's not on most servers actually.
Yeah, because it's first time for me. Like first time hearing it about it. But yeah, interesting. Funny enough, I don't actually like that many bonuses because most of them are just let's take for example any spy complex bonus. I despise.
Oh, they're the best.
I despise
they are the best. You're missing out, dude.
Dude, no. Like
every time I see a spy complex map or bonus, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, like those kinds of bonuses for me are just. Oof. I'm not trash talking spy complex. I love the guy. Like his bonuses are amazing, but they're not for me. I hate that kind of surf. So, and most of the bonuses are like that. They're weird, short, and hard. And the bonuses that don't fall into that category are just sometimes too easy to call them fun. So it's a bit weird for me, but I would have to say maybe Devil Bonus 1 is quite a fun one. It's like a little short linear map. Or Please Bonus 9. That's a fun unit serve bonus. But I do I do enjoy myself a little bit of b-hopping as well. So I have to say, is it Shodan B3 or B4? It's a b-hop bonus.
I think it's B2 or B3.
Or B2. It's a Shodan b-hop bonus, and it's
B2.
It's so nice. It flows very nicely, and I like getting like some B-hop boosters, so they don't boost your speed, they boost your height. So like that, yeah, that's what I enjoy when it comes to bonuses. But yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at it. Did I miscalculate? Yeah, there's only one thing. Whoops.
Just take this moment to tell chat to hydrate, or I'm coming for your shins.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've been talking a lot. I drank half a liter of water and I will need to go pee very soon. Maybe just for the end. I have one last question for our guest, Jessy.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
No.
You sound so nervous and scared.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
Are you ready?
Just ask the question, you're making it worse.
Okay. If the meaning of life is 42, how warm is the sun?
46.
The sun is 46 warm. You heard it first here, guys.
That's a great answer, if I may say so myself. And I think that's the perfect ending. Yeah, I think it's best if we end it here. I think we've passed the 2 hour mark. So
yeah, we're at 2 hour 20.
So first of all, I would like to thank you, Ben, for helping me come up with topics and helping me set up everything. And of course, thank you, Jessy, for mustering up the courage and coming on here and talk for 2 hours.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Sorry if I didn't have much to say about all the technical and the
No,
stuff.
don't worry. I think it was really good. I had a lot of fun, which was the point of it. While we're there, I would like to I don't have a bind for it, but I would like to give a big shout out to Ben and Jessy. Go check them out on Twitch. If any of the mods would like to copy their Twitch links and put them in chat. But for the YouTube viewers, it's going to be in the description. And if you're too lazy to go down there, it's twitch.tv/Benowy and twitch.tv/Wanahawkaloogee with 2 O's and 2 E's. I think you're going to have to go into the description for that one. But yeah, go check them out. They're great streamers. I really enjoy watching them. I'm not saying just for the sake of saying it. I love you guys, and I love you, chat. Thanks for hanging around for 2 hours. You guys are amazing as well.
Heck yeah.
ECL, shut up. Yeah. Thank you again, and I think that's gonna be it. That's gonna be a wrap.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Everyone enjoyed it.
Get a round of applause for everyone.
I'm on push to talk. That's really hard.